Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking, coming to you with another video review. Okay, cool. If you watched my last video, you know I held up a box and I showed you it. And this is the box of Ancient Terrible Things. This is a preview video. And I know a couple of people said, is all you do Kickstarter videos? I've just had a influx of games that I promised to do reviews for, and they all kind of just happened to fall up during like the exact same time. So I do apologize for those of you who are waiting for reviews and games that have already come out, but trust me, I have a bunch of games that I've been playing that are recent releases that I'm going to be doing reviews very shortly. And if you have any, as always, if you have any suggestions of games that either older or newer or what have you that you'd like to see me take a look at, by all means, please leave those suggestions or email them to me or what have you, and I'll try to get those to hit the table and hit the table in front of the video camera as well. But Ancient Terrible Things is a game for 2 to 4 people. It's kind of a push your luck dice rolling game with a excellent theme. The theme is that each person is an explorer that is delving deep into the swamps of Africa, the deepest, darkest Africa. And they're investigating things man wasn't supposed to know and stuff like that. I'm straight out of pulp novels, pulp adventure novels and movies and what have you from days gone by. I immediately thought of like a Cthulhu-esque storyline, if you will. But instead, this is not really Cthulhu. It's just it's just pulp adventure or serial adventure, if you know what I'm talking about. That's the definite feel I have. But it does have that whole Doom motif going on in the background as well. But it's a fairly straightforward game. Like as I said, it's very thematic and very fun for people that enjoy rolling dice. And if you've watched any of these reviews and you've seen reviews of games that I've played that involve dice, you will know that I do love rolling dice. I am a role-playing gamer by heart and trade, and so anytime I get to test my luck with good old six-sideds, I do enjoy myself. So, I'm going to show you how to play Ancient Terrible Things, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what I think of it. And as always, somewhere hopefully along the way, you're going to see something that you like, and perhaps you'll go to the Kickstarter page and back this game, and so it can get published. I think it might be funded already, actually. I know they're in their last week or so. And then, once the game does come out, you can get your very own copy of it. So, Ancient Terrible Things. I apologize. It is, I forget what the name of the designer is, and I do apologize. I'll say that in my conclusion. But Ancient Terrible Things. Here we go. How to play. Here we go. This is the game board for Ancient Terrible Things. And for the first time in a long while, I have a game board that actually fits all in the camera space, which I really appreciate. Anyway, these are the 4-player tokens. This is a 4-player game. With less players, you'll have less of these ancient secret tokens, which I'll explain in a moment. These are bad if you collect these. You'll also have less of these cards here, which are the different little adventures that your players will go on. You start off with these green-backed cards, and about halfway through the deck you get to the yellow deck cards, and then at the end you get to red. And they increase in difficulty as the cards increase. These are fate cards. You get those to help you try to best these little adventures that your character goes on. This are the swag cards, and these are the 3 swag cards you've turned over. Those are the items that you can buy. The cost is up there in the top right, and that's at the trading post that's right here. pretty obviously when these things are purchased, they're replaced from the swag deck. These cards here are either claimed when people complete the quest, or they're lost when they fail at the quest. Regardless, the card goes away from the spot, and once all the spots are emptied, all of them are replaced with cards off of that deck. You don't replace them as you go, which I think is really cool because like in the first turn, since there's 4 players, 4 of the cards will be used up, either because they are completed, or because they were failed and they're put down here in this captain's journal here. But regardless, they're gone. So the next turn there'll be 2 left, and so maybe there won't be as good of a choice, and so the first 2 people will go, and then you'll replenish them, and then that person that is actually going third that turn, it will actually have more options available to them. So it's kind of a neat little thing. But anyway, I'll just show you really quickly how a turn goes. A player starts with, I should mention, these tokens here are in these locations because the cards themselves, like say this card here has that little green token, so you're putting a, oops, that's not supposed to be there, you're putting a green token here for that. So when you go to the spot, you'll collect that token first. And each of these spots has its own little special ability as well, which I'll explain in just a moment. But so when you replace these cards, you place these tokens there because that's a way you can collect those resources. These are focus tokens, these are fate tokens, courage tokens, and money. So at the beginning of the game, you get 1 of each token, and you get 3 of these cards. So for the first player, I'll just grab 3 cards here, and the cards themselves they'll have a cost to play up there. So you have to spend that many of the blue tokens to be able to use them. And they just say what they do. Like with this one, you can set any die to a 1 or a 2. The minimum dice value for this encounter is 1 lower. So if it says you have to have at least 4s, you can have 3s. And a single opponent discards 1 token of your choice. You can make somebody discard something. But anyway, so that's your hand of cards. And as you use these, you get to draw more after you got on your little adventure. But, so you take your token. I'm going to be a little tricky here. And I'm going to go to this spot right here. Well, the first thing you do is you collect that token. So I'm going to collect this money. So now I have that extra money token. Now this spot has this little symbol here. And what that means is that I can take somebody else's token of my choice, and I can replace it with one of my own. So what my character is going to do is I'm going to give somebody else my blue token that I start with, and then I'm going to take their money token. And the reason for that is because now with my starting money token and the token that I got in that spot, I'll have $3. But just now let's go forward with the actual spot. So this one, it says rats in the hold, and it states that a pair of 5s or higher is needed to defeat the rats in the hold adventure. So what I'll do is I'll take these 5 dice and I'll roll them. And I got it literally on the first roll. However, you'd be thinking, okay, cool, then you completed it, now you're done. Actually, there's more that you can do than just that roll. Now here's where the game gets kind of neat. At the beginning of the game, you are deciding which scenario you're going to play. And this is scenario 1, this is scenario 2. Now you might be saying, what does that mean? Well, depending on which scenario you go with, you'll notice that there are different things here that allow you to trade in the other dice that you don't use for these rewards. So like in this case, 1 die of 4 or more gets you a focus token. A pair of 3 or higher gets you 2 fate blue tokens, and 3 of a kind gets you 3 courage tokens, and a run of 1, 2, and 3 will gain you 3 money tokens. So right now, I've completed my task, right? But according to this, with the dice I have left over, I've only qualified with one of those things. I managed to get one focus token. Now, my options if I reroll, and you get 2 rerolls, and I don't have to take them if I want to. My options are either to reroll all of my dice, or if I want to reroll just certain numbers of dice, I can spend a focus token, or as many of these as I have. Right now I only have 1. I can spend a focus token to reroll 1 die for every focus token I have. So if I wanted to save those 2 dice, I would have to have 3 focus tokens to reroll these 3. Now I could just say, okay, well, I'm good enough. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend my 1 focus token, and I am going to reroll 1 of these dice. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reroll the 1. Because if I get a 2 or a 5, I'll have that run, which is the, notice that's how I could get more money. Or if I can maybe replicate a 3, if I made a lucky roll, I'd be getting a 3. But then, because then I would have a pair and I can get some of the blue tokens. Or if I get the 4, I can get another focus or what have you. So let's see what I get. I'm going to roll this. So I got that's what I got. I got lucky and I got 2 3s. So in this situation, what happened was I completed this quest. So I'm going to get, at the end of the game, I have 2 ancient secrets and I get those. And I can take this and I can put that aside, and that's going to be my score at the end of the game. Because I have a 4 or higher, I can collect 1 green focus token, which I will place in my supply. And because I have a pair of 3s or higher, I can get 2 of these guys, and I can use those to spend to play my cards. So there you have it. Now I've finished my turn. My character returns to the trading post and goes there. And now, because what I had my eye on that camera, and so I can spend my 3 money because I came back and I can purchase the camera. And now, like it says right here, it says your dice pool includes a luck die in case of a focus instead of a focus die. So I'll roll, from now going forward, I'll roll 4 green dice and 1 these yellow dice. And as it says here, the yellow die, I'll roll that in place of focus die, and I don't have to, luck dice do not cost focus to reroll. So because I have this camera, I'll always be able to reroll, I'll always have that die to reroll. And that would be an end of a very fortuitous turn for me, actually. And now the other players get to go. Oh, sorry, I need to replace that swag. There we go. And each person will go and move their character to a spot, and they'll try to defeat the area and see what happens. Now I'm just going to explain what each of these spots do. You'll notice in this spot and this spot, they have either, this one is a courage or a money, focus or fate. You get to take one of those 2 tokens as a bonus for going to either of those locations. And so that's, that's the benefit of going to that location. If you go to the Sinister Chateau here, you get to take the map card. The person who is holding the map, you get to go first on the next round. Which, going first, it can be very, very important in many situations. So that's a spot that gets used. Over here, in the Ghastly Gorge allows you to discard your fate cards if you so desire. Meaning that at the end of your turn, if you've used up any fate cards, you get to draw back up to 3. So in that case, you can get rid of cards you aren't going to use, or you don't have the tokens to you don't want, or what have you, or you don't have the tokens to be able to pay for, and you can draw brand new cards if you go there. And finally, over here at the Yawning Chasm, at this point, if you have these courage tokens are probably the most important token in the game, due to the fact that if you have enough to equal the point total that's in the corner of the card, you can just finish off the quest before you roll any dice. Like if you've gone to this location and you wanted to, you could just spend that one courage token and just take the card, and you're done. You don't have to roll any dice or anything like that. You've completed the quest in that location. At the Yawning Chasm, what happens there is you can, if you have the courage tokens, you can pick any of the other spots, pay the courage tokens, and take that card, and then roll to beat the adventure that's at the Yawning Chasm, meaning that you have the ability to collect 2 cards in that spot. And that's probably, you know, if you have the opportunity and you have the amount of the tokens needed to complete satisfy that need, that can be a very powerful a spot to go use. However, just, you know, to show you some of the later cards, once you start getting into the tougher adventures, you'll notice that, like the Book of Unspeakable Truth, you need that you know, perfect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 run, and it's 8 courage. You know, terrible thing, a 4 of a kind of 2s or higher, things like that. And so, and you notice that, you know, the point total needed to purchase them gets higher and higher as the difficulty increases. I did mention these tokens over here. Each time that you fail in a quest, like say you failed in this one, you place it over there and you're forced to take one of these tokens and put it in front of you. Starting with these are worth 0 negative points. These are worth 1. These are worth 2, and these are worth 3. You take those into your hand as you play, and if you have those at the end of the game, and you will, because you can't get rid of them, they're worth negative points when you total up the total points you get from the purple points you have on these particular cards. The game ends when the final token is taken, and it ends immediately. There's no, like, everybody gets one more turn situation. The game also can end if a complete round is completed, all 4 people, or all the players go out and investigate one of the spots, and they come back. There are no cards out there, and there are no cards left in the encounter deck to replenish the spots on the board. If it was empty and there were like 2 cards left in that deck, you'd still put 2 cards out there. And then you would just play out those last 2 cards and you'd be done. So that's the other way the game ends. When the game ends, just like you'd expect, you total up the total number of points that you gathered, minus any points that you got from the ancient terrible things that you released because you were unable to complete the quests, and whoever has the most points wins the game. So there you go. That's how you play Ancient Terrible Things. Let me tell you what I think about this cool little resource dice push your luck game that I've been playing a lot of lately. Jeez, that didn't go over well. Oh, anyway, Rob Van Zyl and I apologize, Simon McGregor, designers. Well, actually, it says Ancient Terrible Things was created by Rob Van Zyl, and the game design was by Simon McGregor. So maybe it was a cooperative effort. Regardless, gentlemen, thank you for making the fun game. I've enjoyed it incredibly. Just wanted to point out a few things about the game that I really enjoyed, and because a lot of times with a dice game, where you roll dice and you roll some dice and you roll some dice, ultimately somebody is always going to say, "Well, it's just Yahtzee," and you know, and I can buy into that a little bit, you know, but I think that's kind of like a go-to complaint for dice games. Because of the fact that, I mean, really, most mechanics, most game mechanics for these designer board games that we enjoy, a true original mechanism for the game, it's tough to find them, you know, because there's so many games out there now, and there's so many games that preceded all these things that we did, that you know, it's difficult to really be truly innovative, and I've said this in a few of my reviews before, and it's something that I've discussed at length with a lot of other board game enthusiasts. Joel Eady, for example, not to name drop or anything, but I mean, Joel's a good friend of mine, and we've talked about this on our podcast a few times. And the thing is that I think it's so easy because I think randomness and that the whole chaos of dice is a bit frowned upon by the I don't want to say like snobbery, but I mean there are people that believe, and maybe there's some truth to it, that like games like Through the Ages or things like that with very little randomness or chaos or dice, where each turn is like literally your ability at the game versus everybody else at the table, with no real alteration involved as far as the chance and the risk is a true game experience, and I can understand that, but and so games that incorporate random element like dice do get occasionally, I think, frowned upon a little bit, and it's a very, very easy argument to say, well, it's just you're just taking every single dice game prior to this one, and you are just just changing it up a little bit. And like I said, I can see your point, but I don't buy into it, because I have a blast with games with dice, and with all kinds of dice games. I can sit down with zombie dice or Martian dice, and I can play that with my buddies and have just as much fun as I can over a lengthy brain-bending Euro. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Ancient Terrible Things is a game for me that has an excellent theme. It has awesome look to it, and it is a deeply immersive experience. And it has all the elements of the game that I really enjoy when I sit down to play a game like this. It has people attempting to push their luck, getting lucky with an awesome roll, and so when they do, then everybody else at the table is like, "Gah!" It's like, how did you do that? And it has those moments where all you need is one more 4, 5, or 6, and you roll the dice and you just can't get it. And there are things like that I absolutely adore. I love that energetic atmosphere that situations like that create at the gaming table, and I like that. I mean, I don't just. I mean, a lot of times I'll play a game because the game itself is fun, but there are a lot of times that I'll play a game because it's the focal point that brings my good friends around me for several for a few good hours. This game only lasts about a half hour, 45 minutes, but I mean, this is a game that we play before we play other things, and we have, and it's one of those, and it's a game that we've played over and over again just in a single night, and it just repeatedly is something that we enjoy, and it tells a story, which I'm a big proponent of. I kind of wish, and I'm sure when the game comes out, that these little figures here that designate the people, they'll have backstories. I think that's something that could really open the game up. Give these people abilities, that allow them to re-roll a certain die or something, or give them starting equipment or something. Give that immersion that the game is dripping in, and add that extra layer. I mean, that's something I think that I would like to see. I'd really like to see from the game. I'd love to see like the expansions that this game is begging for. Obviously, you just build off that river and add even more locations and what have you. And I'm sure if it does well, they'll go that route. It's weird if you're familiar with Flying Frog Productions and over the top movie-esque type games, which I love. I love their stuff. If you're familiar, I feel like this is a game that like should have been made by them. It's weird. I mean, the only thing this doesn't have is the cards with the actual actors on them and the costumes, what have you. That's the only thing this doesn't have. This feels like something they would have made. And that's a compliment as far as I'm concerned, because it's got everything that, if you like a push your luck dice game with a really, really good gritty theme to it, and also I should mention the theme. I've said theme a few times. How cool is it that they did this theme? I mean, for the longest time I thought that like most themes were just kind of tired and bored, and they've been used over and over again. And I mean, this is something, the deepest, darkest Africa. I remember I used to play, oh man, this is a long time ago. I played a game, I think it was on my Commodore 64 or 128 or something. And there was a game, it was like kind of like a spiritual successor to Seven Cities of Gold, which was an excellent game, of course. And I forget what it was, but it was about discovering and investigating Africa, and when there, for a large portion, for the longest time, I mean, there were just certain areas of that continent that were just unmapped and unknown. It was like this frontier that was being explored. I remember, and I hope it's somewhere still in my parents' house. There was this old globe that my parents had, and there were literally spots on the globe that said unexplored territory. I remember seeing that as a kid, and I thought that was just amazing and cool. But I really dig this. I mean, this is the area of the world that everybody used to think that, I mean, people believed there was a possibility that dinosaurs were still walking around, and I guess it appeals, the theme and the look of the game appeals to me because of the fact that it kind of takes me back to that time of my life when I was reading about stuff like that, and reading and seeing those, like, globe and those things in my life, and it kind of harkens back to that. As far as like the mechanics themselves go in the game, I just enjoy it. I think it works really well. I like the collection of the resources. I like the fact that all four of the resources all have very powerful abilities. Obviously, I think like the purple ones are probably the most important, because those are the ones that allow you to, the courage tokens allow you to buy the secrets immediately, and of course the secrets are the points that you use to win the game. But all of them have their purpose. If you don't get the focus tokens, you can't reroll dice, and being able to reroll dice is huge. If you don't get money, you can't buy stuff at the trading post, which is once again huge. If you don't if you don't get the blue tokens to be able to buy get more of these cards, once again huge. So they've done a really good job balancing all four of the different resources, and so even if you are the first person to go, and I also like the fact that each of those locations have different powers, and the first player marker is one kind of like all by itself, and so it's like, but which is more important, being able to go first next turn, or is it more important to try to go after somebody else's tokens at the Crumbling Ruin, or is it more important to go to the Yawning Chasm and be able to maybe get two cards at once? And it seemed like a very common strategy when we played was you went to the chateau so you could get the map card, so you'd have that to go first the next round, and then the next turn you'd go to the Yawning Chasm, and if you had enough courage tokens, so you could try to for two cards. I mean, that seemed like a pretty standard attempt, but more often than not it seems like that it worked against us, because whereas we could buy the one with courage tokens, whatever was at the Yawning Chasm itself, we wouldn't be able to satisfy the die rolls to be able to collect the card, and so we'd end up taking another one of these ancient terrible thing tokens. So I mean, it's a game that I've enjoyed the heck out of, and I think, like I said, for people out there, if the people that this game is geared towards, if you are a thematic games fan, if you like dice, and you like a push your luck type of a situation, plus you enjoy being told a story while you play the game, then I think Ancient Terrible Things will be for you. It's quick, it's fast, and it's a lot of fun, highly competitive, and I'll be danged if you're just not going to have fun rolling the dice and cheering yourself on while cursing out your friends and hoping that they roll really, really horribly. But yeah, there you go. Ancient Terrible Things. Check it out. Hopefully, like I said, maybe somewhere along the line you've decided that this is a game you'd like to back. So go ahead and check out that Kickstarter page and do what you got to do. But as always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video and watch this review. I do appreciate each and every one of you very, very much. And I do promise some non-Kickstarter reviews coming very, very soon. So, yeah, until next time, this was Undead Viking. Thank you very much for your patronage. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.